Welcome to Teyvat Historia. In this video, I'm going to cover all the little details and other references I noticed from the second Archon questline of Genshin Impact version 2.0, Stillness Sublimation of Shadow. But first, I'm currently striving to reach 100,000 subscribers. If you're a returning viewer, or if you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to help the channel reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. Now, on to the video. Starting with the title, Stillness Sublimation of Shadow. Stillness is another word making commentary on the immovable nature of the Shogun. It establishes an interesting theme referring to the Shogun's inflexible and possibly broken state of mind. The more interesting word choice in the title, however, I believe, is sublimation. Depending on the connotation MiHoYo intended for this word, it has a few different meanings. Most definitions, aside from that which explains when states of mass jump from solid to gas or gas to solid without first becoming a liquid, it describes an act of purification, refinement, or ennoblement. However, what shadow exactly it is that is being purified, we still don't know. With that said, as I mentioned in my previous Things You Might Have Missed video, I am working on a theory regarding what I believe is going on with Yae Miko. The Shogun's state of mind is central to that theory, so be sure to stay tuned the next week or so for more on that. Another detail I mentioned in a previous video was that Kamisato Ayaka frequently mentions her inability to get directly involved in resistance efforts, as to do so would have grave consequences for her clan, as well as the Yushiro Commission as a whole. Here we see this theme stand out again, except at the start of this questline, Ayaka is now ready to throw caution to the wind in order to save Toma before his vision can be reclaimed in the 100th Vision Reclamation Ceremony. Fortunately for Ayaka, the traveler volunteers to go in her place, to which Ayaka begrudgingly accepts. Ayaka thus avoids having to show her cards for a bit longer, but it seems likely she will be forced to reveal herself as an enemy to the Shogun's vision of eternity before too long. Okay, this scene was amazing. After nearly a year in the world of Teyvat, we were finally shown the power of an Archon in their prime. Zhongli appeared to us as a wearied god, worn down like the stone of an ancient mountain after his 6,000 years in service to the heavens. Venti openly admitted to us that he was the weakest of the 7 Archons and is summarily trounced by La Signora early in the story. None of that is true for the Shogun. She's cool, calm, and emotionless. With zero showmanship, nor a moment to stand on the ceremony of the 100th Vision Reclamation, she reaches out to take Toma's vision, until the traveler steps in and interrupts the scene, in an act which causes only a moment of confusion for the Shogun, as she takes a second to observe who dared defy the decree. She cuts to the core of the problem quickly, realizing that the traveler does not have a vision and labels our protagonist an exception and thus an enemy of eternity. After this, we had probably one of the most impressive and completely boss moves made in the game so far. The almighty Shogun descends from her stage above, walking on pure electro energy, a scene which is likely a callback to the Hersher of the Voids reveal in Honkai Impact. Seriously though, this scene gave me chills as it played out.
Capable of using elemental energy without a vision. You are an exception, it appears.
The Shogun unleashes the Misono Hitotachi, and if you look closely, her primary sword strike actually appears to have cut through reality, before opening up a rift that drags the traveler into the Red Realm we saw in the 2.0 version trailer. While we're never specifically told during the quest what this realm is, or what it's called, the promotional materials released earlier this week for the Shogun make mention of something called the Plain of Euthymia, and I believe it is describing this area. At the center of the realm, we're shown a TRISKELE. Triskelions are 3-pronged shapes which often represent life, death, and rebirth. They appear often throughout Teyvat, particularly within Khanrian ruins, but the form we see most often is the one which represents the electro element itself. Before the Shogun first draws the traveler into the Plain of Euthymia, she appears emotionless, her eyes a dark purple, half closed as if numb to the world. But the moment you arrive inside the plane of Euthymia, her eyes are emblazoned with a purple light, and her expression burns with a curious ferocity. Her first words spoken at the start of the duel:
There is much to verify about you.
so it is possible that she may have brought our protagonist into the plane of Euthymia so that she can inspect them with more discerning eyes. Perhaps lending more credibility to this line of thinking, the moment she strikes the traveler down, as she collapses her realm, you can see her focus, her tenacity, her emotions fade away, along with the bright purple light in her eyes as she ices back over. At first I thought her eyes lit up whenever she used her abilities, but they did not appear to light up at all as she readies her sword to strike down our helpless protagonist. Then immediately afterwards, her eyes appear to light up again as she reacts to the spear Thoma launches at her. This makes me wonder if the light within only shows itself when she experiences moments which break her from her emotionless state, the moments which break through her hard shell, the moments which allow her to feel alive. This one isn't so much really a lore detail, but when Thoma is desperately trying to cut his bindings, before the Shogun can bring a killing blow down on the traveler, you can actually see little rope shreds splitting off as he cuts his bindings on the nearby spear. This is the kind of easy to miss attention to detail that I've come to expect from MiHoYo, and I love it. It didn't take the almighty Narukami Ogasho very long to recognize the traveler as a threat to eternity. But when Paimon is trying to wake our protagonist, before she can deliver a killing blow, she simply gestures Paimon away with her blade, suggesting that she doesn't detect anything unusual about Paimon at all. Clearly, there is more to Paimon than meets the eye. Even Kazuha could see that. But if an Archon operating at full power can't see it, I think we're going to be surprised by whatever is eventually revealed.
What?
After escaping the Shogun, Thoma specified that the Yashiro Commission and the Sangonomiya Resistance are not on good terms. This suggests that there may have been some sort of disagreement between the two entities at one point or another. Sangonomiya takes a more direct approach towards resisting the Shogun's will, while the Yashiro Commission works behind the scenes to help citizens of Inazuma cope with the current state of life in the Nation of Eternity. It's likely that the Sangonomiya Resistance would like the Yashiro Commission to take a more active role.
We cannot remain indifferent to this situation without also remaining indifferent to our own fate.
When meeting with General Goro for the first time, in order to get his attention properly, the Traveler and Paimon reveal that they were the ones who openly defied the Shogun's will in Inazuma City, and lived to tell the tale. However, Paimon's description of the events states that they tangled with the Shogun, then grabbed the Vision Bearer and whisked him off to safety, when we all know in reality that even though the Traveler is the one who went to save Thoma, really, it ended up being Thoma who whisked our protagonist to safety. The Sangonomiya Resistance's demeanor is consistently shown to have reached desperation by the time we're introduced to them. On many occasions where Teppei would speak of the Traveler's deeds, the descriptions would grow increasingly more grandiose, to the point of being almost untrue. It seems that while Teppei desires to become a samurai, old habits die hard, and his time as a logistics manager sees him shipping hope to many of his fellow resistance members as much as he can. And with guys like this on their team,
my posture was off and I didn't draw back with enough force.
They're going to need it. From the start of version 2.0, it seems that the Shogun's goal is to squelch the people of Inazuma's ambitions in order to ensure the Nation of Eternity indeed lasts forever in an unchanging state. But by the very act of doing so, she has caused a spark of ambition in so many individuals to oppose her will.
The actions of the Shogun's army ignited something inside me.
This could mean that her vision of eternity was actually fatally flawed from the outset.
Much like a certain fatally flawed friend of mine.
While helping to train some of the rather inexperienced recruits, a host of royal shogunate guards gets the jump on our party. After they are dispatched, it is determined that they could have only gotten so far into the resistance camp, with accurate intel indicating where vulnerabilities exist within their defenses, making the logical assumption that there must be a traitor within the ranks of the resistance. This particular detail was left unresolved during this questline, but it is something that I think we should probably keep our eyes open for in the next. There are multiple references to Sangonomiya Kokomi being the chief strategist and brains behind the resistance. However, a book titled The Sangonomiya Chronicles details that not only is Kokomi in charge of the military, but also acts as the head of the government of Watatsumi Island. Watatsumi means god of the sea, and as such the island is named for the great sea serpent Orobashi no Mikoto. Although usually peaceful, it is written in the book that the serpent suddenly invaded the shogun's lands, causing a war, which resulted in the death of the shogun's treasured Tengu general of that time, a role upheld by Kujo Sara in the current day. This enraged the shogun, causing her to strike the serpent down over Yashori Island, where its remains can still be seen now. Sangonomiya Island surrendered after this and officially endorsed the shogun as their legitimate ruler. But as history is told by the victors, it will be interesting to see how this tale is described by Kokomi, and whether the serpent's attack on Yashori Island was really so sudden and unprovoked as the chronicles make it seem. That's it for all the little details you might have missed from the quest Stillness Sublimation of Shadow. Did you notice anything I missed? Be sure to comment below, or at me on Twitter at TeyvatH if you had anything you wanted to point out. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified when my next video goes live. Thanks for watching Teyvat Historia. May the 7 guide you, travelers.